All right, let's dive into this. SMA Solar Technology.
Sounds pretty techy.
It is. We've got training manuals, like actual courses, product descriptions, even a bit from Wikipedia.
So, like, the whole 9 yards on this SMA Solar.
Exactly. And it all points to SMA being a big deal in solar energy. But the question is, have you ever thought about, like, actually getting involved in solar?
Beyond just, like, having some panels on your roof.
Right. Like, what if you could learn how to install and maintain those systems yourself?
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Right. And that's kind of what we're going to explore today.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So one thing that really jumped out at me was this thing called the SMA Solar Academy.
Okay, like a school for solar.
Basically, it's like a global training hub for anyone who wants to become a solar expert. And they have locations, get this, all over the place. Europe, Asia, America.
Wow, they're really serious about this training thing.
Yeah, it's not just a small operation. And the range of courses they offer is, like, mind-blowing. Design, installation, commissioning, servicing.
So everything from start to finish.
Pretty much. And they cover systems for homes, businesses, large-scale projects, even off-grid setups. They even have a course on integrating solar with diesel hybrid systems.
Diesel hybrid systems. Now, that's something I haven't heard of.
Me neither. But it sounds like, combining the reliability of a diesel generator with the clean energy of solar. Pretty interesting, huh?
Definitely. So it's not just all about the panels themselves. They're really covering the whole spectrum of solar energy.
Yeah, they're like thinking about the bigger picture, the whole ecosystem. And get this, it's not just in-person learning. They have online webinars and video tutorials, too.
Oh, so you can learn from anywhere. That's convenient.
Super convenient. And speaking of experts, the list of trainers they have is impressive.
Oh, yeah. Like who?
Well, just to name a few. Michael Mahan, Patrick Rafferty, Alejandro Ramirez.
Those are some pretty solid names.
Right. And they're not just based in one place. They have trainers all over the world. Australia, Belgium, Brazil. It's a whole global network.
So they're not just making solar panels. They're really building up the whole solar community.
That's a great way to put it. So, okay, we've established that SMA is really invested in this training thing.
Yeah, they're serious about education.
But what about the actual products? What kind of technology are we talking about here?
Well, they're really known for their solar inverters.
Inverters, what are those?
They're like the brains of a solar energy system. They convert the DC electricity generated by the solar panels into AC electricity that can be used in your home or business.
Oh, I see. So they're kind of essential.
Absolutely. And SMA's inverters, especially their Sunny Boy line, are considered top of the line.
Sunny Boy. That's a cute name. What makes them so special?
Well, for one, they're known for their reliability and efficiency.
Reliability is key when you're talking about something as important as your home's energy system.
Exactly. And they come in a range of sizes to fit different needs. So whether you have a small home or a larger building, there's a Sunny Boy inverter that can handle the job.
So they've got the home market covered. What about larger projects like businesses or, I don't know, maybe even those big solar farms you see out in the desert?
They have inverters for those too. For commercial and industrial applications, they have the Sunny Tri-Power and Sunny High Power series. And for those massive utility-scale projects, they have the Sunny Central inverters. Those can handle megawatts of power.
Megawatts, that's a lot of power.
It is. So they really do have a solution for just about every solar need you can imagine.
From a small rooftop array to a massive solar farm, it's pretty impressive.
It really is. And it's not just the inverters. They have some other interesting technologies too. But maybe we can talk about those later.
Oh, you've got me intrigued.
Yeah.
Tell me more. What else is up their sleeve?
Well, they've developed something called Shade Fix. It's designed to, get this, maximize solar energy production even in shady conditions.
Wait, what? I thought shade was like the enemy of solar panels.
It usually is, but SMA has come up with a pretty clever solution.
Okay, I'm all ears. How does this Shade Fix thing actually work?
Well, you know how when a solar panel is even partially shaded, it can reduce the output of the whole system?
Yeah, I always wondered about that. It seems like even if part of a panel is in the sun, it should still be generating some power.
You'd think so, right? But in traditional solar systems, the panels are often wired in series. So the electricity has to flow through each panel in a chain.
Okay, I'm starting to see where this is going. So if one panel isn't producing much power because it's shaded, it creates a bottleneck for the whole system.
Exactly. But SMA's Shade Fix technology uses some fancy software and electronics within the inverter to optimize the energy flow from each individual panel.
So even if a few panels are shaded, ShadeFix can compensate and keep the system running efficiently.
That's the idea. It's like having a smart system that can dynamically adjust to make the most of whatever sunlight is hitting the panels.
That's pretty cool. So it's not just a marketing gimmick. There's actual technology behind it.
Oh yeah, it's legit. And there's research to back it up too. A study by the University of Southern Denmark found that ShadeFix actually outperforms traditional methods of dealing with shade.
So it's not just talk, it actually works. That's impressive.
It is. It's all part of SMA's commitment to, pushing the boundaries of solar technology.
This ShadeFix thing is really blowing my mind. I mean, they're really thinking outside the box here.
They are. And speaking of thinking ahead, they also have this other technology called Smart Connected. It's their automatic inverter monitoring system.
Okay, now that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. What is that exactly?
Well, imagine having a virtual technician constantly watching over your solar system.
Like a 247 solar guardian angel.
Exactly. Smart Connected is always monitoring the performance of your system, and it sends you alerts if there are any issues.
So you can catch problems early and maybe even avoid those big repair bills down the road.
Exactly. And in many cases, SMA can actually diagnose and even fix problems remotely without having to send a technician out to your house.
No way.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Talk about peace of mind.
Right. It takes a lot of the guesswork and worry out of owning a solar system. And it's all part of SMA's overall approach to making solar energy more accessible and user-friendly.
So they're not just making the technology, they're making the whole experience better.
Exactly. It's like they've thought of everything, from training people to install and maintain the systems, to developing innovative technologies like ShadeFix and Smart Connected. They're really committed to making solar energy a viable option for everyone.
I'm really impressed with what I'm hearing so far.
Me too. They seem to be a company that's truly dedicated to advancing the cause of clean energy.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about SMA's global training program, their impressive inverters, and even touched on some of their really cool technologies like ShadeFix and Smart Connected.
It's clear that they're not just a solar panel company. They're really a leader in the whole clean energy movement.
I totally agree. So what's next on our deep dive agenda?
Well, I think it's time we took a closer look at some of their specific products and see what makes them unique.
Yeah, let's dive deeper into the world of SMA inverters.
Sounds good to me. So, those SMA Solar Academy courses we talked about earlier? They really go in depth on a ton of different solar topics, from the very basics all the way up to like advanced design and installation.
It's wild how they seem to have something for everyone, from, just a regular homeowner who wants to understand the basics to professionals who want to become like certified installers.
And what's cool is they don't just focus on SMA's products. It's like they teach you about solar energy systems as a whole.
So even if you, I don't know, ended up using a different brand of inverter or something, the knowledge you'd get from the SMA Solar Academy would still be useful.
Oh, absolutely. They're equipping people with like the skills and know-how to succeed in the solar industry in general. It's not just brand specific.
That's pretty awesome, actually. It shows they're really invested in the whole solar movement, not just their own little corner of it.
Exactly. Okay, but enough about training for now. Let's get back to those SMA inverters. We touched on the Sunny Boy line earlier, the ones for homes. What makes them so popular?
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. What makes them stand out from the crowd?
Well, a lot of people say they're super user-friendly, reliable, and efficient. Plus, they come in a whole bunch of different sizes, so like you can find one that matches your home's specific energy needs.
So it's like they have a Sunny Boy for every household. But what about bigger projects? Like businesses or those massive solar farms we talked about.
Don't worry, they've got those covered too. For commercial and industrial uses, there's the Sunny Tri-Power and Sunny High Power series. They can handle much larger systems and obviously higher energy outputs.
Makes sense. And I remember you mentioned the Sunny Central inverters for those huge utility-scale solar farms, right?
Yep. Those are the big boys, capable of converting megawatts of DC power from the solar panels into AC power that can be fed into the electricity grid.
Megawatts. I still can't wrap my head around how much power that actually is.
It's a lot, and SMA is right there on the front lines making these massive solar projects possible.
Talking about all these different inverters, it makes me think about energy storage. Like, what about batteries? I keep hearing more and more of those being used with solar systems. Does SMA offer any solutions in that area?
They do. In fact, they have a whole product line called Sunny Island that's designed specifically for off-grid and battery backup situations. And for larger systems, like those tied to the grid, they offer the Sunny Central storage system.
Wow. So whether you want to be completely independent from the grid or just have some backup power in case of an outage, SMA has got you covered.
Pretty much. Their energy storage systems let you store all that extra solar energy you generate during the day and then use it later when the sun's down, like at night or on cloudy days.
That's so smart, especially as we rely more and more on renewable energy sources. It gives people so much more control over their energy and helps reduce our dependence on traditional power grids.
It's a big part of their vision for a more sustainable energy future, one where individuals and communities have more independence.
It's exciting to think about, generating your own clean energy and then being able to store it for later use.
It's definitely a game changer. But, we've been talking a lot about these amazing products, but let's circle back to the SMA Solar Academy for a minute. We mentioned the different courses they offer, but what about the trainers themselves? What are they like?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they're the ones actually teaching all this stuff, so they must have a pretty deep understanding of solar, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. The trainers at SMA come from all sorts of backgrounds, but they all have tons of experience in actually designing, installing, and maintaining solar systems. They're not just academics, they have real-world, hands-on knowledge to share.
That makes me feel a lot more confident in their training program. It's always better to learn from people who've actually been out there in the field dealing with real-world challenges.
Couldn't agree more. And another cool thing is that SMA has trainers located all over the world. They're committed to offering training in multiple languages, making it accessible to a global audience.
Wow, so if someone wanted to, say, become an SMA certified installer, they wouldn't have to travel to Germany or anything.
Not necessarily. They could probably find an SMA training center in their own region that offers courses in their language.
That's amazing. It really opens up opportunities for anyone who's interested in pursuing a career in solar energy.
Exactly. SMA is making a real effort to make solar knowledge and training as accessible as possible, which is super important if we want the industry to keep growing.
So if anyone out there is even thinking about a career in solar or just wants to learn more about harnessing the power of the sun, the SMA Solar Academy is definitely worth checking out.
For sure. They're a great resource for anyone who wants to be a part of the clean energy revolution. But speaking of resources, we haven't really talked about one of SMA's most interesting technologies yet, ShadeFix.
Oh, right. We kind of glossed over it earlier. But how does it actually work to maximize solar production, even in shady conditions? It sounds almost too good to be true.
It's actually pretty clever. It solves a really common problem with solar panels. You see, even when a panel is partially shaded, it can seriously reduce the output of the entire system.
Why is that? I always thought that even if part of a panel is in the shade, the rest of it would still be generating power.
You'd think so, right? But in those traditional solar panel systems, the panels are usually wired in series, which means the electricity has to flow through each panel, kind of like in a chain.
I'm starting to see where this is going. So if one panel in that chain isn't producing much power, because it's shaded, it slows down the whole system, right?
Exactly. It's like a bottleneck. But SMA's ShadeFix technology uses some really sophisticated software and electronics within the inverter to, intelligently manage the energy flow from each individual panel.
So even if there are a few panels in the shade, ShadeFix can make up for it and keep the whole system running smoothly.
That's the whole point. It's like having a smart system that's constantly adjusting to make the most of whatever sunlight is hitting the panels, no matter what.
I remember you mentioned a study that showed ShadeFix actually performed better than other solutions for dealing with shade.
Yeah. A study by the University of Southern Denmark found that ShadeFix was more efficient at squeezing out every bit of energy, even in different shady conditions.
So it's not just a fancy marketing term. It actually delivers.
It does. It really shows SMA's dedication to innovation and pushing the limits of what's possible with solar.
This ShadeFix technology is seriously impressive. They're always thinking one step ahead, finding new ways to make solar more efficient and reliable.
Absolutely. And while we're talking about reliability, we should probably mention another one of their key technologies, Smart Connected.
Remind me again, what is Smart Connected all about?
Basically, it's SMA's automatic monitoring system for their inverters. Think of it like having a virtual technician keeping an eye on your solar system 24/7.
Oh yeah, right. It gives you peace of mind knowing that your investment is protected, right?
Exactly. Smart Connected continuously tracks how your system is performing, and it'll send you alerts if anything seems off. That way you can address problems early on and hopefully avoid expensive repairs down the line.
So it's like having a built-in maintenance system that's always working in the background.
That's a great way to put it. And the cool thing is, in a lot of cases, SMA can actually diagnose and even fix issues remotely without having to send someone out to your house.
That's so convenient. Saves time, money, and hassle.
Exactly. It all goes back to SMA's commitment to making the whole solar experience smooth and hassle-free for their customers.
Honestly, it seems like they've thought of everything. From in-depth training programs and innovative technologies like ShadeFix and Smart Connected to making the switch to solar as easy as possible, they're really going above and beyond.
It's true, but we've been talking a lot about technology and innovation, and it's important to remember that there are actual people behind all of this, the human element of this solar revolution.
That's a great point. What do you mean by the human element?
I mean, behind all these advanced gadgets and systems, there are real people designing, installing, and maintaining everything. And SMA recognizes that investing in people is just as important as investing in technology.
Oh, right, like with their SMA Solar Academy, we talked about how they're training a whole global workforce of solar pros.
Exactly. And it's not just about technical skills, they're also fostering a sense of community and passion among those dedicated to this whole clean energy movement.
It's inspiring to think about all those people around the world working towards a more sustainable future.
It really is. And SMA is a big part of that, empowering these individuals and giving them the knowledge they need to succeed.
This deep dive has been so eye-opening. I've learned so much about SMA Solar Technology, their commitment to innovation, their focus on education, and their vision for a cleaner future.
I agree. It's clear that SMA is more than just a company. They're a driving force in the global shift towards renewable energy.
So we've covered a lot of ground. From SMA's amazing inverter technology to their training academy and those game-changing features like ShadeFix and Smart Connected. What should we explore next? Okay, so let's bring all this back around to our listeners for a second.
Yeah, good point.
We came to this deep dive with a whole bunch of info on SMA Solar Technology.
We've covered a lot.
We have their inverters, the training programs, their global reach.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is.
Yeah.
But what does it all actually mean, for the folks at home listening to this?
That's a great question. I think the big takeaway here is that SMA isn't just selling, products or services. It's more like they're offering a pathway.
A pathway to what?
A pathway to becoming a part of this whole clean energy revolution. They're not just saying, hey, buy our solar panels. They're actually giving people the tools and the knowledge to learn about solar, install it, maintain it, even build a career around it.
So it's not just about sticking some panels on your roof. It's about really understanding the tech and being a part of this bigger movement.
Exactly. With the SMA Solar Academy, they're making all this knowledge accessible to basically anyone who's interested. It doesn't matter where you live or what your background is.
And they're backing it up with cool innovations like ShadeFix. So even if you got those tricky shaded areas, you can still get the most out of your solar setup.
Right. And with Smart Connected, you're not left to figure things out on your own. You've got that virtual technician keeping an eye on your system 24/7.
It really does seem like they've thought of everything to make going solar as easy and, I guess, stress-free as possible.
For sure. And they've got the experience and the resources to really make a big impact.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it all comes back to that question: what's stopping you from exploring solar?
Right. With all these advancements and resources available, why not at least look into it?
Maybe check out some of those SMA Solar Academy courses.
Or get a quote for a solar system for your home or business.
Whatever that next step is for you, SMA seems to have the support and solutions to guide you along the way.
So go ahead, take that step towards a cleaner, more sustainable future.
We hope this deep dive has given you the knowledge and the motivation to do just that.